sharp, vigilant, and level-headed. When it comes to protecting the commander-in-chief, nothing is left to chance. For the 10 years he was in power, President Uhuru Kenyatta had a powerful pack of elite bodyguards that surrounded and protected him at work, in Kenya and abroad. Success in protecting the president requires proper intelligence gathering, effective strategic planning, proper coordination, leadership, the latest technology, proper combat equipment, and a bit show of might and power. In this video, we present to you Uhuru Kenyatta's watertight security apparatus and personnel as Kenya's 4th president. Sometime between March or April of 2013, the assumption of the office of the President Committee sat and had to make a momentous decision. That is, to organize for the security of the then President-elect, Uhuru Kenyatta. With brazen terrorist attacks happening at home from the Somali insurgent group Al-Shabaab, Kenya needed to create a formidable ring of defense around Uhuru, ensuring his safety at all costs. It is then that the Inspector General of Police David Mwale Kimayo, the head of the Presidential Escort Unit or Prescott, Francis Wanjohi Mwangi, were tasked with mobilizing and handpicking the finest officers to protect Uhuru as Kenya faced the Al-Shabaab threat.
Thank you for calling National Police Service.
Okay, at Eastleigh Phase 3.
Kimayo himself had served as President Daniel Arap Moi's Prescott commander from the year 1999 to 2002, so he totally understood the task at hand. IG Kimayo, Prescott Commander Francis Wanjohi Mwangi, and the then GSU Commandant picked one of Kenya's finest close protection officers to act as Uhuru's first and lasting bodyguards.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Constitution and the President of Kenya.
The contingent of highly trained officers drawn from the GSU were picked due to their past experience, skills in martial arts, and for their marksmanship. They were the epitome of dedication and skill. This is when the three most prominent members of this clique, Senior Assistant Inspector General of Police Josephat Mputhia Kirimi, Pepita Ranka, Eric Nahashon Kiragu, and Senior Superintendent of Police George Kirera Muru led a team of 200 strong elite bodyguards that threw a security blanket around Uhuru Kenyatta 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Interestingly, the Presidential Escort Unit Commander Francis Wanjohi Mwangi and his deputy Joseph Narangwi were moved from their position a couple of months later. Being a Prescott leader is one of the most sensitive jobs available in Kenya's security industry. It is said Wanjohi was transferred after Uhuru expressed concerns that he is not physically fit and a bit overweight for his duties. It is then that Edward Mbugua was appointed as a Prescott Unit Commander and deputized by Mohamed Omar Bashane. As President Uhuru Kenyatta faced numerous threats from both domestic and international sources, the Presidential Escort Unit acted as a shield, employing various security measures to mitigate these risks and ensure the safety of Uhuru Kenyatta at all times. In addition to the President's personal protection, the Presidential Escort Unit was also responsible for the security of the entire Kenyatta family, providing protection to the First Lady, Margaret Kenyatta, to his 3 children Jomo, Muhoho, and Ngina, and as well as other influential figures within the regime. From state-of-the-art technology to a contingent of highly trained personnel, no chances were taken when it came to protecting the son of Jomo. In addition to technology, it is norm in the close protection industries for the bodyguards to use a series of spoken passwords and code phrases that are known only to the bodyguards to ensure secure communication. Uhuru Kenyatta, as was the rest of the other presidents, was referred by the codename Hotel Echo, which is the NATO phonetic alphabet, meaning His Excellency or just simply HE. Other code phrases known to us and still being used in security circles at the moment cannot be disclosed to the public as they are still classified. The Presidential Escort Unit's responsibilities extend beyond physical protection. They are also tasked with intelligence gathering and conducting counterintelligence operations. This involves monitoring and analyzing potential threats, both internal and external. The command works closely with other intelligence agencies to gather information and assess the credibility of potential risks. Their expertise in threat assessment and risk management allows them to stay one step ahead of any potential dangers. For years, this trio of bodyguards, plus hundreds of others, protected the president at work. Pepita Ranka's dedication, sacrifice, and show of bravery in protecting Uhuru Kenyatta earned him admiration among Kenyans for his unwavering loyalty and commitment to his job. In one of the comments in our past video showcasing Ranka at work, one viewer joked that Ranka was so good at his job that he could smell of a threat from kilometers away. Pepita Ranka Kinyaga, who originates from Laikipia County, is also a former athlete who has represented Kenya internationally in the 1,500 meters men's race, just like the current Prescott commander, William Yampoi. As Uhuru Kenyatta's principal bodyguard, Ranka, who is currently aged 50 years, was a marvel to watch. His black glasses were a prominent feature of the badass bodyguard no one would ever miss. Ranka served as a commanding officer of the Presidential Guard subunit during Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure. In 2022, before he exited office, Uhuru Kenyatta conferred and awarded his trusted bodyguards Pepita Ranka and Josephat Kirimi, Elder of the Burning Spear EBS, for their outstanding service. Other security officers from his detail were also awarded various commendations. Both officers have since been reassigned to other duties in the National Police Service, and Kiragu was currently one of the top officers in charge of security during the WRC Safari Rally. On his part, Eric Nahashon Kiragu was a calm but stricter officer when it came to security protocols. Among the team is another officer, George Kirera, who currently serves under President Ruto, that played a key role in organizing and coordinating the job of protecting the president and his deputy. Kirera has been in charge of administration at the president's security team. In 2023, there was controversy when Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome withdrew senior officers from among the officers currently protecting Uhuru. He, however, explained the circumstances surrounding the scaling down of the number of officers.
Among the formations is the Presidential Escort Unit. Among the formations under the Kenya Police Service, it is Presidential Escort Unit, which is headed by an Assistant Inspector General. Under that unit, we have the Office of the President. That is under the Presidential Escort Unit. We have the Office of the President, Office of the Deputy President, providing security to retired presidents. Therefore, Presidential Escort Unit, the commander is an Assistant Inspector General. Then you find the Office of the Deputy President. The commander there for his security is a superintendent. All former or retired presidents, whom we respect very much, and we have a responsibility to ensure they are safe and secure all the time. Once a president is retired, the commander is a superintendent of police.
It is said that Uhuru had preferred to retain some officers he had while president as part of his security team during retirement. Protecting Uhuru Kenyatta was one of the most challenging moments ever in the career of the Presidential Escort Unit officers, considering the threat of the potential of terror attacks from Al-Shabaab that used to hit Kenya every now and then. Anytime Uhuru was out in the public, it was a matter of tension. Security was raised to the maximum as the Presidential Escort Commander Senior Assistant Inspector General of Police Josephat Mputhia Kirimi mobilized all law enforcement agencies to protect the President and his entourage from terrorist attacks. It is said Uhuru was so particular about his security that at one time Uhuru nearly cancelled his trip to Belgium after one of his trusted bodyguards, Edward Mbogwa, was denied a visa. Edward Mbogwa was denied a visa to the European Union to accompany the President to the EU-Africa Summit in Brussels, Belgium. As a result, President Uhuru Kenyatta had to cancel his trip to Belgium, but later rescinded his decision after the security chief was issued with a visa. Edward Mbogwa was said to be one of the most loyal protection officers to Uhuru and earned promotions that saw him retire in 2023 as the Deputy Inspector General of the National Police Service. During Uhuru's tenure, the Presidential Escort Unit was led at different times by officers Francis Wanjohi Mwangi, Edward Mbogwa, Mohamed Omar Bashane, and Josephat Mputhia Kirimi. George Nderitu was also a notable officer as he acted as the GSU's commanding officer of the Presidential Guard subunit. During his time in office, President Uhuru Kenyatta kept his security agents on tolls to make critical decisions when he made surprise visits to places that would have put his life at risk. Uhuru made several unannounced trips, including one in 2016 when he visited an active war zone in Somalia. President Uhuru made the historic visit to a war frontline in Doble military camp in Somalia, meeting Kenyan troops serving under the Africa Union Mission in Somalia, AMISOM. During the trip, he had combined protection of the Kenya Defense Forces, Special Forces, plus the Prescott Unit. Shrouded in secrecy, Uhuru also managed to visit Mogadishu for an IGAD meeting when Somalia hosted the meeting for the first time in 30 years. As is routine for presidential trips to war zones, very few people in the presidential circle are aware about such a visit until the time of visit, and sometimes until the president returns, it remains a closely guarded secret. A source privy of the mission revealed that to facilitate the trip, the Kenya Defense Forces seamlessly executed the covert mission of the visit to Somalia by hiding the president's helicopter call sign, among many other things. President Uhuru also made several night tours in Nairobi and in the coastal city of Mombasa, where he freely walked around the streets unannounced. During such unannounced trips, the officers utilize the aspect of surprise, and their primary defense lies in their skills of observation and neutralization of any unexpected scenarios. Despite carrying firearms, their main focus is on closely observing the people near the president, and they are always ready to neutralize any perceived threats using their hands and bodies. Uhuru also loved to challenge his security team and could often make frequent trips made of a very lean security team of 2 or 3 officers. His movement was nothing short of extraordinary, with every detail planned with military precision to ensure the comfort and safety of the commander-in-chief. Uhuru's travel arrangements were designed to ensure his safety by the security agents who carefully scanned routes and locations for potential threats. During his tenure, Uhuru threw his security team into the thick of things when he rode the standard gauge railway SGR train from Mombasa to Nairobi, making stopovers to commission some of the new stations as well as address locals. On 31st May 2017, a joint command team consisting of the Kenya Defense Forces, the National Police Service, the National Intelligence, plus other critical government agencies took yet another big risk in their duty of protecting the commander-in-chief. They meticulously planned one of the riskiest journeys undertaken by both President Uhuru Kenyatta and his then deputy William Ruto. Uhuru and Ruto took a 427-kilometer 4-hour journey from Mombasa to Nairobi in the inaugural SGR train. Uhuru's train journey was a display of planning and the security machinery that Kenya has. The Kenyan security apparatus had to take every measure to secure the Kenyan leaders, considering they were riding on a normal armor-free train and not a fortress like the train used by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. From 2013 to 2022, when Uhuru was in power, the Prescott unit managed to coordinate protection of top world leaders who visited Kenya, including President Barack Obama of the United States, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, guarding Pope Francis in his inaugural tour to Kenya, the US Secretary of State John Kerry, Japan Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, among many others. Uhuru's bodyguards also had a first-hand chance to interact with the Secret Service at work when he was hosted by President Donald Trump in the White House in Washington, D.C. His security guards also faced a challenge during the COVID-19 pandemic when guards were required to keep high standards by not only protecting the president but also ensuring he was safe medically not to contract the virus. During the pandemic, the Prescott unit introduced strict protocols to ensure everyone who came to close contact with the president was free of the virus. Unlike his father, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, who had a ruthless lead bodyguard by the name Arthur Wanyoike Dhungu, Uhuru had a team of security officials that led a professional and dignified life. Despite having an elite team of bodyguards, a strong motorcade and one of the latest communication technologies, plus guns at their disposal, there were security lapses during former President Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure that made headlines. In the first incident, in May 2021, while the former president was touring Nairobi's Lakisama area, a security breach happened when a man jumped in front of Uhuru's motorcade and temporarily stopped his car. The move forced the retired president's car to come to a halt, after which his security swung into action and subdued the man. In the second incident, the former president had experienced a security lapse in Lamu County. While making his address, a man appeared from the crowd and headed straight towards the presidential dais. The man caused a commotion after it appeared that he was heading towards the direction of the president. The commotion appeared to scare the president, who was forced to temporarily halt his speech for the man to be dealt with. After the incident, Uhuru apologized and proceeded with his speech. In April 2021, a businessman who was among the guests attending the funeral of the late Kiambaa MP Paul Koinange, which was graced by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, breached Uhuru's security and joined the presidential convoy, following it all the way to State House. The man reportedly drove into State House by joining the presidential convoy without being detected. While at State House, it was discovered that he was a civilian when he drove his car past that of the president, yet no car should move whenever the president is disembarking or boarding his car. It was at this point that Uhuru's security moved in and took charge of the situation. Uhuru currently enjoys a quiet life in retirement and enjoys tight protection as provided by the law by officers of the Presidential Escort Unit in charge of protecting retired presidents. He and his family also get round-the-clock security from GSU officers from the Presidential Guard Unit. That brings us to the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed it. For more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and click on the cards on your screen to view our past videos. What would you like us to feature next? Please let us know in the comment section.